Hi guys, how you all doing? Welcome back to another video on the channel. I've got some exclusive news regarding Tino Livermento and his injury. Hopefully it's good news, details to follow. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe. If you haven't done already, give me a thumbs up and a comment to this. And that would be much appreciated. So let's get into it. Tino Livermento has been ruled out. We exclusively revealed at Sky Sports News earlier on this afternoon. He has been ruled out for 6 to 8 weeks with a knee injury. Now, I think it's good news. I think the fear, first of all, was that he'd ruptured his ACL like he did back in 2022 when he was a Southampton player, the way he landed awkwardly. Now, there was a first scan on Monday at Newcastle. He was then sent to see a specialist yesterday, Tuesday, for a secondary follow-up scan. Newcastle wanted a second opinion on the initial diagnosis, and the diagnosis has come back positive. Now, obviously, you don't want to be losing him at all, and 6 to 8 weeks is a long time when you've got games coming thick and fast. But when the initial fear was that he could have been missing for the rest of the season with an ACL, having already done it once, it was a real concern for everyone involved at the football club. So just I think a relief that the injury is nowhere near as bad as first feared. However, 6 to 8 weeks will mean that he misses, by my calculations, around about the next 10 matches. So what I'm told is that it's not although it's a ligament injury, it wasn't sustained upon landing, it was sustained upon impact. So you remember he went up for the header alongside William Saliba towards the end of the game. They were both in mid-air. Saliba came through him and the two knees clashed on the side of his knee, and it's the sort of medial ligament on his knee that's had the injury to it. So that was the test that the Newcastle doctors were doing at the time on the pitch to see if he had injured his medial ligament and how badly. And the scans have come back that yes, it is an impact injury rather than a twist or a strain or a rupture. So I would say that's very good news given the fear at the start. I mean, if Newcastle were to go without Tino Livermento for the rest of the season, it would be really difficult, given one, how good a player he is, and two, his versatility. You've got to remember as well, you've got a World Cup coming up next year, and I think he's probably going to be in Thomas Tuchel's squad if he carries on his form of the last year or so as well. So it would be a real blow for him as an individual, and also to do your ACL twice in the space of just a couple of years doesn't bode well for the future. Not many players come back to the exact same level once they've done that. So an impact injury with that clash with William Saliba. I'm told there's a 6-week rehab period for Tino. And then there'll be a couple of weeks after that before he can get back to playing. So round about 8 weeks in total. I think 6 weeks being back would probably be pushing things, but obviously these things, a bit like the Johan Wissa situation, are pretty fluid. And you know, he could be a quick healer and he could be back a bit sooner. So I reckon he's missing 10 matches, and he should be back there or thereabouts for the Marseille away game in the Champions League at the end of November. So I think the hope is that he's back involved by the sort of end of November, start of December, which doesn't seem too far away. However, 10 games is 10 games. There's still quite a lot of games to play without that option of having him at right back or left back. What I would suggest will happen now is Lewis Hall will come in. He'll get back to playing as many games as possible at left back. I don't think he'll start every game, but I think he'll play quite a lot at left back. You might see Dan Burn pushed out and playing a bit more at left back. It would allow Sven Botman to get into the team, because as we know, Eddie Howe loves Dan Burn. He's been phenomenal. He's an England international now. I don't think he deserves to be dropped, but I think Sven Botman deserves to get back in the team. So actually having Burn at left back and Botman at centre back, you've got the physical aspect from set pieces, both attacking and defending, but you've got two of your leaders in that squad as well. Now, while left back isn't Dan Burn's favourite position, he'll do it for the team, and I think he'll probably help out there until Lewis Hall is 100% fit to play the majority of the matches. It feels and sounds like he's not quite at that stage at the moment. And Kieran Trippier, who was from what I'm told, close to leaving in the summer. Look, he wasn't close to leaving in that the club were going to accept it, but there was interest in him. He could have left. His contract's up at the end of the season. I think Kieran probably a little bit frustrated that, you know, towards the end of last season, after, you know, doing so well at times, he was the one left out for Tino and Lewis to play. And look, the two of them have been great, don't get me wrong, but I think Kieran Trippier's played some brilliant football over the last 6 months or so, and some of his best football since he joined the club. Just been so reliable, done a great job, and obviously the leadership he brings to the team as well. So I think Trippier will probably be a stick on at right back for the next 10 games. I'll certainly play as many as possible. You might see maybe Emil Kraft come in and play like a game or two here or there. Malik Chow can play out right back if need be as well, and Jacob Murphy can play like as a wing back. So there are options there, but I think it'll be Trippier and Byrne or Trippier and Hall moving forward. But look, as far as Tino is concerned, I think he's fairly upbeat about it. He's relieved, it's not too bad. Obviously disappointed he's going to be missing the next 6 to 8 weeks. And a huge blow to Newcastle, but it could have been so much worse. You know, he's one of the star names, he's one of the best players, he's one of the most improved players, and I just think the team feels so much more tighter, organised, and I just think they seem a lot more safer at the back when Tino Livermento is in that team, whether it's at right back or left back. Brilliant defender, a one-on-one, and someone that's really grown into the team, and it's incredible to think he's only 22 years old. You know, he plays with an old head on young shoulders. So that's the news on Tino. Obviously Johan Wissa's still missing at the moment, so too is Jacob Ramsey. I think Jacob Ramsey's probably going to be back pretty soon, probably the next week or so. Obviously we've got the international break. I think probably, you know, straight after the international break we'll see Ramsey back. With regards to Wissa, it's difficult to tell because Eddie was hoping he'll be back for that Brighton game, but there's sort of conflicting information out there, and I don't know if they know exactly just how serious the situation is. So they'll try and manage that as best they can with Nick Voltemad, but just a not ideal situation to only have Voltemad and Asula as the two out-and-out strikers. I still think Anthony Gordon will probably play a few matches through the middle in the coming weeks until Wissa's back and available. So that's it from me, guys. Just on with that exclusive update earlier that Tino Livermento missing 6 to 8 weeks rather than an ACL, which would have kept him out probably until the end of the season. So hoping to see him back in a black and white shirt at the end of November, beginning of December for that impact injury. Not any ligament damage. It is ligament damage, but it wasn't sustained upon landing. It was sustained upon impact with Arsenal's William Saliba. Okay, guys, nice to speak to you all. As I say, leave your comments below and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers now, bye bye.